In this video, we're going to take a closer look at some of the finer points of a Valkyrie hog attack. This one was executed by Finluke, who's kind of our master of the art here. You can see 100% damage. He did this very quickly. He had a ton of troops left over. This base is very vulnerable if you know how to get your Valkyries through walls. Um, this base is designed so that your troops, when they attack, will wander around the base and stay out of the core where he's got most of his heavy artillery here. A couple of Expos, the Queen. You can bet there's going to be Teslas in here, and they're going to be shooting at your troops who are just going to keep walking around to the next closest building along the walls. They're going to be circling this thing as if it was Jericho or something while they're getting ground down by the Expos and everything that's in the middle. So it's a very easy base to beat as long as you have a plan for getting into that core, which Finluke does. Real quickly, we won't spend too much time on this. You can see that he's got an offset clan castle. That means we can drop a giant or a hog or something here, get the trigger, lure him up to one of the huts. You can pretty much do it at any one. Drop a poison spell, take care of them, and then you can start the main thrust of your attack, which in Finluke's case is going to begin here. Drop a whole bunch of Valkyries that are going to go into the middle. They're going to cut through that first wall because there's no buildings on the outside for them to attract them. Then it's a matter of how do you make sure they're going to get into the middle. Once they get through that first wall, they're really going to have one choice to make. They're either going to head this direction or they're going to head this direction. They are not going to go through this second wall right here. Not right away. So this is the key. You have to find a way to get those Valkyries into the middle. We'll take a look at why they go into the middle, because they do in just a moment. But the main attack is going to come through here. If he can get the Valkyries into the middle here, where the queen is, they will target the queen, they will target the king, and then he can use his hogs. He can drop those to clear out the rest of the base. So let's see how it unfolds. I'm going to speed up the first part here, just because we've seen this 100 times. So we get the trigger, drop the poison, take care of the clan castle troops. He's going to drop a golem next. That's going to attract the dragon. Okay, stop for a moment. So he dropped the golem up here, then he dropped two more wizards, so they would take care of the queen. The golem can freely walk into that opening and step on any spring traps, any bombs or whatever, so that the Valkyries and the hogs don't get triggered by it. I should take one moment to show troop composition. He actually has 15 hogs. He had, I think it was 8 Valkyries. The Valkyries you can see are already dropped, but he's holding the hogs. He's going to make sure that he secures the base for the hog attacks. The Valkyries are up here. As I mentioned, they will cut through that wall very quickly, and then they will choose which way they're going to go, north or south. Go ahead and zoom in on here so you can see them working. Now they're heading towards the south, and they're cutting up all the buildings on the outside. Now this is exactly what the owner of the base wanted to see. Now stop it here. This is the critical moment. Where are the Valkyries going to go? Well, the base designer doesn't realize this, but they're not going to keep going this way. And the reason is there's a big empty space here, and the next building isn't adjacent to another building. Look, there's another space here. So these Valkyries are going to look for an opportunity to use their double building attack. So they can either go to the outside here to do that on 2 adjacent war camps, or they could go to the middle. Now we want them to go to the middle, and Finluke, if you're watching this, I'd like to know if you planned on having them go to the middle, or, did you know they were going to do it? I didn't know. I don't know how you can bet on that. But in retrospect, after having seen this thing, I suspect the reason why they do go to the middle is because there is a larger collection of base or buildings here for them to attack, as opposed to the outside. If they go to the outside and then start wandering around, it can be very difficult to get them back in, and that's not what happened. So I'd like to learn more about how to make sure they're going to go that way. But the important thing I want to point out to everybody is this space here is almost like having a wall. The Valkyries aren't going to go into that space. They're still going to look for buildings that are close by. And I think that's very important to remember when you're reading a base. So, okay, let's see. Stop drawing. Let's go ahead and play. So they're getting a lot of flack here, so he drops his heal spell. Now, at this point, I want to show a couple of other things. They've cut through the middle, so things are going well. So some other things that are happening here. Drop the clan castle here. That had 3 Valkyries in it. Also had a giant. You're going to see a rage spell go down here, trying to clear out these buildings so that you can entice the Valkyries not to go that way, but to go this way, because you still want to get them into the core. You'll also see that he has not dropped any of his hogs. He's still waiting on that. And even though he's dropped 1 heal spell, he still has 3 heal spells. So he's got a ton of power left in his that he hasn't even deployed yet in this attack. And it's already going quite well. So there go the Valkyries. Now, another critical moment. So they've gone from the outer ring into the middle ring, and now they're going to go into this crossbow. And I have to be honest, I don't know why they're doing that, because it seems to me they have a couple of other buildings that they could go after. My theory on this is, like, they've got some that are on the outside of that wall. I think the key is there's another space here and another space here. So that building and that point defense are not attractive to the Valkyries because they can't use their double attack on it. But I'm not sure that that holds water, because this Valkyrie, or this Expo, also had spaces next to it. So I suppose the reason is, once that Tesla tower popped up, now the Valkyries, this one right here, now the Valkyries know they can position themselves right in this spot and take on 2 buildings, which is what they love to do. And that's why they decided, I'm going to go through the wall. Whatever the case may be, what you're going to see here is, once they move into the middle, Finluke is going to drop all of his hogs here, because he knows now that the Valkyries will take out the queen and they will start attacking the king while these hogs work on these point defenses. And if everything goes well, the Valkyries and the hogs will meet right here, where he can drop another heal spell and heal all of them. And that is what happens. There go the hogs. Valkyries are going to take care of that crossbow. It's gone. The queen is gone. The queen may be the reason also why the Valkyries went into the middle. Now look at the beautiful placement of that heal spell. This one right here. I got to zoom in on this. He has all of these hogs, all of these Valkyries being healed. Now there's a bomb right here, but because they're in a heal spell, it's not a big deal. Now this is the only thing that I see that goes wrong in the attack. There's also a bomb right here, and so you basically have kind of somewhat of a disguised hidden bomb, because it's a little bit harder to read that there could be one here and here. There was a lot of open space. So all of these hogs pretty much are going to die, but because he's done such a great job on this base, he doesn't really need them anymore. They have essentially cleared out the entire northern side of the base so that the Valkyries aren't going to head up in that direction. And since he's healed them, he's got a ton of them left. So even though this base is only half destroyed, he's really in mop-up mode at this point. So, there go all the hogs, unfortunately. But look at all these troops that he has left. The other thing the other reason why this base is very flawed in a war, look at these golems. They're very slow. The hogs and the Valkyries get ahead of the golems in a base like this. But that's okay, because as they slowly work their way over here, now they're taking all the damage from this one lonely point defense. Normally on a compartmentalized base, the golems have a tendency to get stuck on a corner somewhere because they can't get through walls by themselves. But here, there's very few walls. They can always keep moving. They're not going to get stuck anywhere. So those are the 2 points I wanted to point out. Being able to read where the spaces are, because those are going to redirect the Valkyries. So use those to your advantage when you're trying to figure out how you're going to get those Valkyries to move into the middle.